Hey guys, just completed my first bust. I feel pretty proud of him. Overall, I think he looked pretty good. There are some points of criticism. I'll make for myself and points I like. First, I really like the way his red coat came out and his shadowings. I think I learned there. I did learn the inking a little bit better, so that's always positive, and the gold trims and some of the texture. I've realized that my skins need some work because they just look like he's tanned. My eyeballs are not great. My hair, I try to follow along, but I guess I didn't understand. But my weakness is still in the metals, and those are things I need to work on. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully this helps you as much as it helped me. If you have any tips, let me know. Now to move on to my awkward intro. All right, I've always wanted to do like a competition piece, and some of the people I admire, like Squidmar, says do a 75mm paint if you want to get better. So I grabbed him, which is from Scale 75, and this is gonna be my first attempt at like a competition level piece. I am using the Scale 75 easy painting process too as my guide. However, I don't have an airbrush, and it calls for airbrush. It calls for Scale 75 paint, which I don't have a whole lot of. But I'm gonna use this kind of my education, and I realize I'm not very good at modeling, and that's the next part of my journey I need to focus on. With that said, I do have some Abomination Gore, and I'm just gonna go ahead and just base coat them up as I work my way through. There you go, he's looking all right. Got his coat. So now I've got black ink and red ink. And I've mixed them together until I got a consistency I like. Added some water, so it's kind of like a glacius. And I'm gonna go pick all these little lines out. And I should dry this off before I applied it. So all the dark recessed areas add quote unquote shadow if I knew what I was doing. Now I'm going to going back with my original color and just kind of glazing over the spots that need some tidying up and just working its way out until I feel like I've fixed my mistakes and I've blended the colors in. Now that I've finished my shadows, or my attempts, I'm going to take the pure red and I'm going to start to mix it in with my darker red. I'm going to start layering up, and just like before, when I'm done, I'm going to water it down, some of it, and try to get things done. Try to highlight, try to smooth my transitions out. Just leaving bottom of things, right, a little bit darker anywhere I feel like there might be a little bit of light being obscured. And I'm going to keep doing this as I move up. There you go, there's the model. Looking pretty good, I think, for myself. And now I'm going to add a little bit of orange, because that's what the instructions tell me to do on how to paint this amazing model. I'm just going to thin it down. This is about that. And all the raised areas, as per the instructions, I'm just going to come along and add this heavy glaze, and I'll add layers as I see fit. So like here, just a little raised up. There we go, and I did any little cleanup thing I needed to do. And now I simply grab oak brown and fur brown, which is a dark brown and medium-ish brown. What we're gonna do is pin coats, I don't know, the stripes, the stripy bits. So we're gonna do all these little stripy bits and just base coat them up so we got a nice little brown to work with as we build up for the yellow. First let me address, this is not my original plan. My yellow exploded, so I just mixed it with my brown. And so now I'm just going to do 2 edge highlights, right? I'm going to do one with the brown mixture. Just come along here. Trying to avoid that line in the middle. And then I'm going to do the same thing, but with just the yellow. There we go. We got the first highlighting done. Now I just got yellow by itself. I'm just going along here. There we go. It's looking okay. Following along. If you're following along at home, grab the dark turquoise. I'm going to do his little sash here. We're just going to set that up as our base layer. And there's a sash. So what now I've got a mix of court royal cloak and my previous color. You see it right down here. And I'm just gonna take his head off. And I'm gonna start highlighting though. And what I've noticed in my little book is they kind of do little slashes. That's okay, that's not a little slash. They kind of just give some texture. So I'm gonna try to do the same thing. Just give little slashes as I work my way. And I think I'll mix a little bit more in there later and go over it again just so it stands out just a hair more. And I might use a finer detail brush. There we go. And now I've mixed in some Gorgonheim or sky blue. This thing is real light blue. And I'm just going to finish off my little highlights. I'm trying to do little cross hatches on the down robes here, inside where I did it before, and along these little tassels, and then along this. I don't really have a lot of choice other than the edge highlight, I think. There we go. And this is what we did before. I got dark sky and dark turquoise. And I watered it down so it's really thin. And just tap it on a paper towel. I'm just going to go into where the shadows are. I'm just going to slowly build it up. And these little crevices as well. There we go, there's our little highlight. So now I got Troll Claws, was just like a lightish tan. We're gonna get his pants, nice puffy pants. Let's get in there and base coat that. There we go. And the book calls for pale flesh to be mixed with that brown. And I guess I'll try to highlight it up. I'm gonna use like a heavy glaze. And probably 2 heavy glazes. I'm just mixing the flesh, moving my way out. It's gonna take a little extra time, but I wanna make sure it looks all right. And then we're gonna do a little bit of shading. There we go, I forgot to record, but I took a dark brown and mixed it with the low one. Create some shadow. Now I just got some whitish yellow and mix it with the dark brown, and I'm going to try to get in here and do some highlights. And then when I'm done, I'm going to kind of glaze it back in to help get that blend. And it's just kind of a keep trying until I get a yellow I like. There you go. Now we're going to do his belt. For his belt, I'm going to try to go for a reddish brown. I got camel dark brown. It's a little darker than I want, but maybe it'll work out. So let's just go ahead and base coat this. All right, now I'm gonna grab some Rot Brown primer. It's just a little bit red. I'm gonna do little slashing marks here, and I'm gonna build it way up. First, I'm gonna use a bigger brush, and then I'm gonna get smaller and smaller as I kind of highlight these areas. Now, once I get about 50-50, I think I'll stop and reassess. Now I'm gonna mix some yellow. I got desert yellow in here, and I'm actually really proud of the way that belt came out. I'm just gonna, I know it calls for just the pre-yellow, but I don't know if I'm ready for that. There we go. It's just the highlighted portions, huh? It looks like it's just the kind of upper part of the belt, or maybe it's catching the light a little bit. And now I just got a brown ink, which I've watered down like 4:1. And I'm going to just try to get all the darker areas and glaze it in. Just putting a little bit on my brush, tapping it, and just keep working it. There you go, there's the belt. I think it came out okay. Now we're gonna work with the shirt and the collar. And I just got some off-white, which is skeleton bone for me. And I'm using the previous dark brown, which is oak brown. Getting this kind of off-white tan. I'm gonna try to use that to build up my white shirt. All right, now I'm gonna mix the three of these until I get a tone that I like. I'm not really sure why. I wish I had an answer for you, but it's just what the Spanish person told me to do, so I'm doing it. I'm just gonna highlight it up, and I think I'm gonna do like maybe 2 layers to try to get a shirt. Get a little water off my brush. Yeah, hopefully it turns out okay. I'm just gonna do some highlighting. I really wish I understood art. So now I'm going back to my original brown, taking some dark sky, and trying to get it so it's a nice dark blue, brown, and this little highlight, so it's thinned out with water. I'm just going to come in these little shadow areas and just kind of push it up to the areas that are be the darkest, right? So now I'm going to go ahead and base coat this and kind of the darkest gray I have. We're going to try to get that black leather. So let's go ahead and get all this and his little scarf into that nice base coat. There we go, we've added it in. So now I'm going to slowly mix in some Ice Storm, which is just a light gray or bluish light gray. And I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to kind of go along the edges. Right, I'm going to go along the edges and using finer brushes to work my way up. Just try to get a little bit of fabric there. And then anywhere I think it's elevated, I'm going to give a couple little slashes. I think the light's catching it. And I'm going to use that as I get lighter and lighter. Kind of focusing in the middle. I guess that's kind of how my belts wear apart. I'm just going to kind of do that. There we have it. So now I just got a black ink, or even a black wash could work. And I'm just gonna, I thinned it down with some water. I'm gonna glaze it. Except for this little dot here. For the rest of it, I'm just gonna kind of glaze it down to its darkest parts. And that's just to remove some of the harshness here. So each time I put a layer on, I'm going to stay away from one layer of light. and work towards the darkest area. Like up here where it's gonna be underneath his pistol, will probably be the darkest from the shadow of his pistol. We'll just kind of do this maybe 4 times, I think. Well, you'll have to kind of judge based off your own concentrations. There you go, he's looking okay. Get the light back up. Now we're gonna get the skin. So I'm just gonna start with the tan flesh and take my time to not hit anywhere I've already painted as I work my way through. There you go, he's got a nice little tan on. I got some barbarian flesh. And since I'm only doing one model, I'm just mixing it in my palette as I go to get it lighter. And I'm getting a fair amount of water on it. So I have like almost a heavy glaze right there. Hopefully you can kind of get it. I'm just gonna work in these elevated areas. Making sure that it's, maybe like a 3-coat kind of level, maybe even a 4. And that's kind of the plan. Just pick these highlighted regions, like say his nose, and we're gonna just kind of glaze it up. In areas that are gonna be dark, like underneath his chin, let's just roll that up a little bit. So anywhere we have, we can maybe leave some recesses in the shadows. Now that I'm done with his skin, he's come across a little tan, especially in this light. Hopefully he gets better. But I added red, and any red will do, to my skin mixture until I get a mix that I like, and that's gonna be his lips. And I wish I could tell you the exact ratio, but it's literally just me mixing until I felt like they look like lips and not like lipstick. And same thing for the nails. There you go, now we're gonna do the eyes. So any old off-white you have ought to do, and just try to not get it on anything you've already done. And whatever you use for the eyes, you can also use for the teeth. And just get yourself steady as much as you can, and just try to take care of business. There you go. My eyes aren't great, but I'm getting there. So now I got some burnt umber, and I'm gonna start working his hair. Probably using a smaller brush for this little line that's out here by itself. Just being careful not to go over any of the work I've already done. There, I got a little brown here. I had to put a wash because I couldn't get my brush in a few places. So now we're gonna get his guns. I'm gonna pick another dark brown. This is a little different. I'm gonna take care of these guns while I wait for this wash to go. Hopefully I didn't screw myself. I'm trying to move away from the washes. And I'm just gonna go ahead and get these pistols all taken care of. So now I got Demonic Yellow Moon Dust, which is a darker yellow and a bright yellow. I've mixed it with the base color for the hair. You might be saying, why'd you do that? The answer is, I don't really know. That's just what the book I'm following told me to do. So I'm gonna start working my way through, and hopefully this highlighting will make sense by the time I'm done. Because as it stands now, I'm ignorant. I'm ignorant, and I don't understand why those colors exist. But yeah, just start. If you're following along with me, just try mixing in some of your yellows with this brown. Maybe it'll make sense. Yeah, there's the model. I didn't show you how to paint the cup or his guns because I just didn't know what to do. I couldn't follow the book very well, but there he is. I think he came out mostly okay. I hope you enjoy it.